Part 146. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1452. Zhang Chen and the others arrived at Changsha Road. The house Liu Bang, the founder of the Han Dynasty, talked about was in an alley on Changsha Road. The gate did not open to Changsha Road, but to the courtyard wall, next to Changsha Road. This was just right for Zhang Chen. The door opens to Changsha Road, but it will seem a bit too lively. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han Dynasty, commanded Xiao Wu to turn left at the entrance of the alley. After entering for more than 10 meters, there was an iron gate. There was an open space paved with floor tiles at the gate, where 4 or 5 cars could be parked. Probably because he was worried about others parking their cars. Here, except for a parking space, potted flowers are placed everywhere else. In the pots, the weeds grow more lush than the flowers. In the only parking space, there is a black hood Mercedes parked here. The model of the car is very old. The car is covered with leaves. It seems that even the tires are a little flat. The car is parked here and it should be very old. Long days. The 4 people got out of the car, and Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han Dynasty, told them, "Come on, move out of the parking space." Everyone moved the potted flowers to the side, and soon a parking space was opened, and Xiao Wu parked the car. Inside the wrought iron gate is a courtyard. The tall camphor trees in the courtyard block out the sky and the sun, bringing a shadow to the entire courtyard at noon in midsummer. The cicadas chirp incessantly, giving this summer a quiet coolness. From the outside, when you turn here on Changsha Road, you have the illusion of a winding path leading to a secluded place. Zhang Chen felt that he fell in love with this place. At the end of the yard is a 3-story house. This house is actually a freak, with Spanish style and Baroque style. It has red brick walls, double slope roofs, dormer windows, and a bit of Gothic style. The designer blended so many elements together, like a hodgepodge, but also like a pot of stew, full of flavor. Anyway, Chinese people themselves are not familiar with Western architecture. Such a mixture makes people feel that it is all Western, so that's fine. There was a time when the West was synonymous with modernity and avant-garde. When this house was first completed, it must have been. It makes people feel very modern, and the designer is trying to figure out this kind of psychology. Nowadays, after years of hard work, modernity has turned into vicissitudes. This disharmony has also become a memory intertwined with old dreams, becoming harmonious and interesting. Someone in the house raised his ears and listened carefully to the movement outside through the chirping of cicadas. He heard their arrival and walked out of the house. This was a man in his 50s and almost 60 years old. He stood on the porch of the house, saw them, raised his left hand and waved towards them, then came down the steps and limped towards them. The visitor was holding a cane in his right hand, also called a stick. When he leaned to the right, the stick supported him strongly. Without it, Zhang Chen felt that he would fall down at any time. The man is older than Han Emperor Liu Bang, but he is called Brother Liu, Emperor Liu Bang. It seems that the title of eldest brother of Emperor Liu Bang in Taipei refers to status and seniority rather than age. From Lin Shuwen's age to the one in front of him, this man is called Brother Liu. The man opened the iron door and let them in. Liu Bang, the emperor of Han Dynasty, patted his arm gently and asked, "How do you like it?" "It's still the same. It's okay on days like this. But when it's cloudy, it hurts like hell." The man replied that what they were talking about should be his leg disease. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han Dynasty, told him to be careful. The man nodded. Liu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han Dynasty, introduced them to the man whose surname was Ou and whose name was Boss Ou Jiangli. He also introduced Zhang Chen, Liu Ligan, and Xiao Wu to Ou Jiangli, and told him that it was Zhang Chen and he wanted to see his house. Boss Ou said that the house is still good, but it is a bit old. As long as Boss Zhang likes it, Everything else is easy to talk about. Brother Lu is a brother, so what else can be said? Boss Ou led them inside. Zhang Chen saw that the foundation of the yard was good, but it was obviously neglected. The corridors of the yard were made of floor tiles. They were made of bricks with diamond-shaped patterns embedded in the ground. There was a marble. The water in the fountain has stopped spraying for a long time, and the pool is full of fallen leaves and rotten water lilies. They walked onto the porch. From the porch to the inside, the floor was paved with flower tiles. The inside of the building was just like the outside. The ceiling on top of the living room was actually decorated with stained glass similar to that of a church, surrounded by a circle. The wall skirt is made of Turkish-style tiles with white background and blue flowers, just like a Turkish bath. The arches and door frames are well designed. The stairs leading to the second floor and the surrounding doors are all made of solid wood. They are dark and dark, giving people a very solid feeling. They seem to be competing against time. They are always. It's reassuring to have the upper hand. The entire living room is empty, of course the old furniture is gone. There are just a few rattan sofas and rattan coffee tables casually placed. In the corner on the right side of the living room, there is a small folding square table, spread out. It looks like it is European. The boss makes do with the place to eat. There is a window air conditioner installed in the living room. It is very old and shabby. It spits out air conditioning, but it doesn't actually spit out much. Fortunately, the house itself is very shady under the care of the camphor overhead, so it also makes it cool. People don't feel hot. All of this gives people a temporary feeling. They are living in a temporary place, but once they have settled in, they will continue to be so temporary. If he had not been prepared in advance, Zhang Chen would not believe that this boss Ou would be in this house. The owner, on the other hand, also saw the embarrassment of the Taiwanese's current life. Zhang Chen pointed to the stairs leading to the second floor and asked boss Ou, "Can I go up and have a look?" "You can just look at it, but it's a little dirty. After my bad legs, I didn't go upstairs for several years," boss Ou said with a smile. "I'll accompany you up." Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said that 4 people went upstairs, and boss Ou sat down on the rattan sofa in the living room alone. When they got upstairs, Liu Ligan asked Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, in a low voice, how boss Ou's leg was injured. "I was fooling around, drank, took a woman with me, and drove a car. In the middle of the night, I hit the isolation belt under the Yan'an elevated highway and broke the light pole. I was lucky to be able to save my life." "Where is that woman?" Liu Ligan asked with concern. "It's not a serious problem, but it's disfigured. It's a big problem for a woman. She lost her money and went back to her hometown in the countryside. There's no use keeping it." Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, pointed to his crotch. He was useless here and became quiet. Zhang Chen and Liu Ligan understood what Liu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, meant when he said that boss Ou couldn't do anything even if he wanted to. They went to the second floor and then to the third floor to take a look. The rooms were very small, and the stairs and passages were also cramped. This is also a common problem in this kind of old bungalow. Living in such a house is really uncomfortable, but if it is turned into a club, these small rooms of different shapes can be transformed into a mahjong room, a small restaurant, a refreshment room, a study room, and a massage room, but it will have a unique atmosphere. Liu Ligan asked Zhang Chen, "How is it?" "It's okay to be a club, and the location of this place is really good. You can get some peace and quiet amidst the hustle and bustle," Zhang Chen said. "Especially for those country bumpkin rich ladies who have just become wealthy, they will find this place to be unique," Liu Ligan said with a smile. "This place has been repaired and can satisfy their self-righteous aristocratic dreams." Zhang Chen nodded and said to Liu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, "Yes, brother Liu, I bought it." The four of them went downstairs and sat down on the rattan sofa. Boss Ou seemed to have been prepared for it. He handed a document bag to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen opened it and took a look. Inside was the deed of the house. The deeds of the old houses all carry real estate. In addition to the deeds, there are also newly obtained real estate certificates and land certificates. The area of the land certificate is 732 square meters, and the area of the real estate certificate is 353 square meters. Square. Zhang Chen gave all of this to Lu Ligan, who looked at it and found that there was no problem. Zhang Chen looked at Boss Ou and asked, "Boss Ou, how much are you prepared to transfer this house for? You have also seen my situation. I want to sell this house and go back to Taiwan." Boss Ou said, "My asking price is 20 million. Boss Zhang, you are Brother Liu's little brother, so we don't have to go around. After going around and around, how about a fixed price of 17 million? Boss Ou directly offered 17 million. Neither Zhang Chen nor Lu Ligan were too embarrassed to bargain. Zhang Chen looked at Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty. Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, nodded slightly. From the looks of it, it's the real price. Zhang Chen said yes. Then at this price, when can the transfer be completed? Of course I hope it will be as soon as possible, but it will take some time for Boss Zhang to raise money, right? Boss Ou said, "It doesn't matter, I'll just wait for you." Zhang Chen looked at his watch. It was already 2 o'clock. The housing authority should have opened the door. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "No, if it's convenient for Boss Ou, we can check in now." When Zhang Chen said this, Boss Ou was stunned. He looked at Han Emperor Lu Bang, laughed, and said, "He is Brother Liu's younger brother after all, and his temper is the same as Brother Liu. Okay, let's go." The five of them got up and went to the car outside. Zhang Chen asked Boss Ou, "Do you want to go to the bank to transfer money first?" "No, just transfer the money after transferring the house, little brother, I can trust you," Boss Ou said, and his title for Zhang Chen became little brother after Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty. They arrived at the housing authority. The housing market in Shanghai was as sluggish as that in Hangzhou. There were not many people going through the procedures here. Their turn came soon and they completed the property transfer procedures smoothly. Then they went to the bank. Zhang Chen transferred all the money to Boss Ou at the counter. It only took 2 hours. By about 4 o'clock, all the procedures were completed. When leaving the bank, Zhang Chen heard Boss Ou whisper to Han Emperor Lu Bang, "Brother Lu, what money do you have?" Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, waved his hand, "I'm not in a hurry. You deal with other things first. I don't lack that little money. Brother, when you return to Taiwan, you'd better take good care of yourself." Boss Ou quickly said, "Thank you, Brother Lu. I owe you for taking care of me here in the mainland." "Don't say such unreasonable words." Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, patted Boss Ou on the shoulder. However, during the short time they left, a tricycle had been parked in the open space they had given up, and it was also locked with a chain. Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Han Jiaozu Lu Bang got out of the car and lifted the tricycle aside. Wu parked the car and entered. After walking inside, Boss Ou found a bunch of keys and handed them to Zhang Chen. He looked around and said to Zhang Chen, "Okay, little brother, this is yours. I will leave tomorrow." "You're in such a hurry to go back to Taiwan?" Zhang Chen asked. Boss Ou shook his head and said, "There are still things to deal with in the mainland, and we will still have to stay for a week or two. I will find a hotel to stay in when I leave tomorrow. As long as you continue to live here, I want to renovate it, and I can't come up with a plan so quickly," Zhang Chen said. "Isn't that embarrassing?" Boss Ou said. "It's okay," my little brother said. "It's okay, you can live there." Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said. It's just that some people will come in and out in the past 2 days, which may disturb brother Ou, Zhang Chen said. What's wrong? I'm the only one interrupting, boss Ou said quickly, then I won't bother moving back and forth. Thank you, little brother. Don't worry, I will do it as soon as possible. Thank you, book friend 20210225083841296 for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you to book friends 20210225083841296, Mu, Gongzimianz, PCM 600812, book friends 2017010905131131137, Rainman, reader 1363703670264647680, book friends 20200903172759311, Xiao Hu Sansa, Fantasy in the Wind, Cup Guy API for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1453. Zhang Chen and the others stayed in Shanghai for one night, staying at the Hilton Hotel not far from the old house on Changsha Road. After dinner, Han Emperor Lu Bang, Lu Ligan, and Xiao Wu drove to Han Emperor Lu Bang and his shop in Shanghai to have a look. Zhang Chen called Xiaomi over. The two of them were sitting at the coffee bar of the Hilton Hotel. Zhang Chen told Xiaomi that he bought an old house on Changsha Road in the afternoon. Xiaomi became excited when he heard it and immediately said, "How can it be possible? Is it that house?" She described it in Didi, and it was the house that Zhang Chen bought. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, "How come you know that house so well?" Xiaomi told him that when she was a child, a classmate lived in that alley, and she even played in that house. At that time, there were more than a dozen families living in that house. Later, the policy was implemented and the house was cleared. The house that was returned to someone else, turned out to be the house of some kind of paint king or egg king. Their descendants are all in Hong Kong. After it was returned to them, they sold it. No wonder. Zhang Chen nodded. It's great to turn that place into a club. I've been looking for a house in Tian Road and Sinan Road these days. I didn't expect you, Mr. Zhang, to move faster than me. It's our company's own. It's great, Xiaomi shouted. Zhang Chen then talked with Xiaomi. They wanted to put their customized headquarters in Shanghai and let Xiaomi serve as the national general manager. When Xiaomi heard this, she immediately became panicked. She said no, and asked me to take charge of Shanghai. I can still do it, but if you ask me to take charge of the whole country, I may not be able to do so. Why not? Zhang Chen asked. Xiaomi lowered his head and held it in for a long time before saying to Zhang Chen, "Mr. Zhang, let me tell you the truth. I have never even been to Beijing, so how can I care about it? Mr. Zhang, you also know that we Shanghainese, I just feel that Shanghai is the world, and the world is Shanghai, and I don't want to go out. If I hadn't gone to work in a company and went to Hangzhou, I'd probably never even left Shanghai now." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "What's the matter?" When Xiaoli came to Shanghai, she had never been to Shanghai. When she went to Beijing, she had never been to Beijing. As a result, she did not do well as usual. Xiaoli is Xiaoli, and I am me. I am not as courageous as Xiaoli. Xiaoli has the guts. No, Mr. Zhang, I am not good at it, Xiaomi said and laughed. What do you think Xiaoli has? Zhang Chen asked. Xiaomi kept laughing, and she stopped talking. Say, I'm very curious, Zhang Chen said. Do you really want to say it? Okay, Xiaomi looked at Zhang Chen and said, Xiaoli has a tendency to break things when she encounters something. I'm not scolding her. Mr. Zhang is saying that she is good. That's it. Okay, if you have the guts, I'm still afraid of you, that's how she is, very courageous and willing to take risks. Zhang Chen laughed. He understood what Xiaomi meant, that is, an ordinary man is brave. If Xiaoli were a man, he would still have such a strong momentum. Zhang Chen said. Why do I think you have it? We were the first to look for a specialty store. When we went to someone else's factory, you scolded someone else, factory director CAO, for being 13 o'clock, and you almost got into a fight with someone. Isn't that urgent? Xiaomi said. You can be anxious now. You can be anxious now that we have driven you to the position of general manager, Zhang Chen said. Moreover, your position was recommended by Xiaoli. Xiaoli's recommendation is always right. When she was going to Beijing, she recommended you to be the general manager of Shanghai, saying that you could do a good job. But in the end, didn't you do a good job? This time she recommended you again, and I think she was right. Furthermore, Xiaomi, do you know that half of the reason why we put this privately customized headquarters in Shanghai is because you are in Shanghai? I can rest assured that I can leave the company to you. Thank you, Mr. Zhang, for your trust, Xiaomi said. What should I be afraid of if I haven't been to Beijing? There are still people in charge of the specific business in Beijing. Once you go there, you will be familiar with Beijing. If you go there twice, you will understand it. If you go there 3 times, you might not want to go to Beijing again. I hate going to Beijing because of the dry climate and poor food. This won't be a problem at all. Xiaomi, just do it with confidence, Zhang Chen said. Okay, Mr. Zhang, I'll try my best, Xiaomi bit her lip and nodded. Next, they began to discuss specific matters. Zhang Chen asked Xiaomi to hand over all the business and personnel of the Shanghai shopping mall counters to Xiaoli, and recommended to Xiaoli a person who could be responsible for all the counter business in Shanghai. At Jinmao Tower, register Aliu Consulting Co., Limited. This is the national head office of their private customization business. Here on Changsha Road, the decoration is still left to Boss Ding and others who decorate their store. But for the design, Zhang Chen is going to let Jason and his Hong Kong company redesign it. Although it is an old house, it still needs to add some fashionable features. Avant-garde elements, especially interior soft furnishings and sanitary facilities, must be very comfortable and convenient, so that guests will not want to leave. Xiaomi agrees with Zhang Chen's idea. She is right. As long as they can't stay away from our place, their pockets will be open to us. Zhang Chen and Xiaomi said that when decorating, you should be more involved, tell the designer your ideas, and you can also consult with customers about their needs for this place. Xiaomi said yes. This is our first club in Shanghai. After Shanghai was built, Beijing and Hangzhou started to build it one after another. We must strive to make each place a high-quality one with its own characteristics. In this way, for example, when your customers in Shanghai go to Beijing, they can also go to our club in Beijing and enjoy the same services as in Shanghai. In this way, our advantages compared with other companies can be reflected. Xiaomi said yes, Mr. Zhang, this is a great idea. By the way, we can also make one in Sanya, right? Yes, we can do it now in Sanya. Just put out 2 or 3 villas in the tropical botanical garden, Zhang Chen said. By the way, in Beijing, you can ask them to see if there are any suitable courtyard houses. They can rent or buy them. Okay, we already have the address in Hangzhou. Xiaomi laughed and said, why do I feel like the investment in this company was huge from the beginning? Of course, you are serving high-end people, so your starting point must be high, Zhang Chen said. The private customization business has been our company's most profitable but also most demanding project from the beginning. The prospects are going to be good. Xiaomi nodded and said yes, which can be seen from the trend. A month later, Wen Wen introduced that after an old artist who sang drums in Beijing passed away, 3 children had a quarrel over a courtyard house left by the old artist. Wen Wen acted as the middleman, brokered the deal, and encouraged them to. The house was sold to Zhang Chen, and after everyone divided the money, they stayed away from each other for a long time. The three children also felt that this way of handling the situation was the most trouble-free, and finally sold the old artist's courtyard house to Zhang Chen for 23.5 million. In this way, Zhang Chen and the others, Liu Consulting Co., Limited. The company also has its own club in Beijing. Jason and the others rushed to Beijing after finishing the design in Shanghai. In addition to the clubhouse that is about to be built in Hangzhou, it is true that, as Xiaomi said, the company's initial investment was very large. This is something. Zhang Chen and the others returned to Hangzhou from Shanghai. As soon as Zhang Chen walked into the office, Xiaoli followed. Zhang Chen told Xiaoli about Shanghai. Xiaoli said, "I already know. Xiaomi called her last night. I talked about the handover of the shopping mall, and I plan to go to Shanghai tomorrow to get acquainted with my colleagues in Shanghai. Xiaomi also wants to help me get to know the managers of major shopping malls. After I went to Beijing, the managers of the women's clothing departments in many shopping malls in Shanghai have changed," Xiaoli said. Zhang Chen said yes. After saying this, Zhang Chen saw that Xiaoli had no intention of leaving. She looked at him, as if he was hesitant to speak. Zhang Chen asked, "Is there anything else?" Yes, Xiaoli nodded. "What's the matter?" Zhang Chen asked. "That, Chongqing, Mr. Zhang, that's, He Dongmei." Xiaoli hesitated. "What's wrong with He Dongmei?" Zhang Chen asked. "He Dongmei is not going to do it anymore," Xiaoli said. Ah, Zhang Chen was surprised. His first reaction was that it was because of He Hongmei, but he still asked, "Why, have you asked the reason?" "I asked, it has nothing to do with Sister Hongmei," Xiaoli said. "The house is about to be demolished and a suitable place cannot be found. Mr. Zhang, I feel that He Dongmei is very sad. When she called me, I'm crying, but I'm too embarrassed to call you." Zhang Chen nodded and said, "I understand, I will call her now." Zhang Chen dialed He Dongmei's phone and told He Dongmei, "Sister Dongmei, Xiaoli just told me that your place is going to be demolished." "Yes, Mr. Zhang, the entire Huixian Tower is going to be demolished." "What is it?" "We need to carry out directional blasting. With one blast, the entire Huixian Tower will be gone. This place is said to be a new landmark in Chongqing. Chongqing is now the better places are all being demolished, and I can't find a new store anywhere. Mr. Zhang, it's really not that I don't want to build half an acre of our land." "I know, Sister Dongmei," Zhang Chen said, "aren't all our stores in Beijing, Shanghai and Hangzhou still demolished? It's so expensive that it's difficult for a specialty store to do it. Even if you want to do it, I will advise you not to do it. Isn't that right, Mr. Zhang? I just can't bear to part with it. Over the years, we have always cooperated so well. Also, Mr. Zhang, that little girl is ignorant and disobedient. Last time she came back, our whole family scolded her. But Mr. Zhang, no matter what, we are still friends, right?" He Dongmei said. "Yes, we will always be friends, but we won't be friends anymore. Sister Dongmei, you are welcome to come to my place to play when you come to Hangzhou. I still want to arm wrestle with you. And uncles and aunts, you can help me." I told them that they will always be welcome here, and I am very grateful to you for taking care of us, Xiao Zhao and his family over the years. He Dongmei took a long breath on the phone and said, "Okay, Mr. Zhang, I will definitely take your words to you. My parents will be very happy. Mr. Zhang, we are still worried because of Yaomei. What do you think of us?" "No, Sister Dongmei, and I also respect and understand Hongmei's choice," Zhang Chen said. He Dongmei sighed again on the phone, said goodbye to Zhang Chen, and hung up the phone. "Thanks for the tip why it doesn't work. Thank you for your monthly votes for why not valid." Huaxin Yongxiao, Daos Hung 123, Chien Chien Dad, and Guzio Kyokiu. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1454. August passed, and time began to fly by quickly. A gust of autumn wind was not only a gust of rain, but also pushed the new year forward day by day. Xiaoshi graduated from the American Oil Painting Department as an undergraduate, and then studied as a graduate student in the American Oil Painting Department. This is equivalent to a change of identity, but people still haven't left the United States. Xiongnan has started his second year of high school, and Zhang Xiangbei has also started school in the United States. The elderly at home have accepted this fact. Even Zhang Chen's mother will not shed tears when they talk on the phone again. The two old ladies, now we are turning our energy and attention to major wholesale markets again. The results of their fighting not only benefited Xiongnan, but also benefited Xiongnan's classmates. Every morning, when Xiongnan went to school, there must be a lot of delicious food in his school bag. It was impossible for one person to finish it all. They were distributed to classmates during class. Soon, Xiang Nan was nicknamed Boss Nan at school. Some classmates said, "Boss Nan, I count on your school bag every day." The faster the food is consumed here in Xiongnan, the happier and more sense of accomplishment the two old ladies have. The way they calculate and care about money is to compare the difference between the retail price in the wholesale market and the shopping mall. They feel that they have earned money when they buy it. They don't care if what they buy exceeds their family's digestion capacity and spills outside the home, as long as they have somewhere to go. They had no place to go, so they had to find a way to go. Even if Zhang Chen went to eat in the morning, Zhang Chen's mother would stuff his bag with bulging snacks. When Zhang Chen arrived at the office, he would greet Su Qiaxin, Xiaoli, and Ji Yiling. "They come and get it?" Su Qiaxin looked at Zhang Chen, who couldn't laugh or cry. She said, "Boss, are you in trouble? Do you want me to go get it for you every morning?" "I can also sponsor it," Ji Yiling said. Xiaoli looked at the two of them and said, "Okay, there is a future. If you go there twice, the aunt will think that you are the prospective daughter-in-law, and you can do a big job." The two people stuck out their tongues, and Zhang Chen laughed. The two land reclamation workers continue to grow vegetables in Huayuan, but they no longer like the vegetable plot in the yard behind their home. Xiao Zhao's father also said that it is not suitable for growing vegetables, so they leveled the vegetable plot. The ground was poured with cement, and a shed was built on it. Lao Zhang bought a bench, a bench vise, a bench drill and a complete set of hardware tools. They started to build a house, which was just a model. They used steel bars, stainless steel pipes and glass to build their skyscrapers. This made Zhang Chen heave a sigh of relief. "Isn't this just playing with building blocks? Okay, you can play." When they arrived at the fitter table, the roles of the two land reclamation warriors changed. Lao Zhang became the master of Xiao Zhao's father, teaching him how to use files, saws, and bench drills. Zhang Chen also bought some from Shentu Hanjian. "I bought a piece of equipment imported from Germany and gave it to them. The equipment is not big, but it has complete functions. It can turn, mill, boring, and plan. It has powerful functions." Lao Zhang was so delighted that he even began to study the machine itself. After discovering that it was controlled by a microcomputer, he gave up research. The microcomputer was beyond his cognitive scope. With this machine, their progress has been faster and their ambitions have become more ambitious. They are no longer satisfied with building a building. The two land reclamation warriors now go to Peach Blossom Spring in the morning and evening, and spend the rest of the time in the work shed. They even take naps on the recliner in the work shed. This recliner was also given to them by Zhang Chen and received from Su Qiaxin. There are 2 samples of beach chairs. After the bulk goods are sold out, the samples are of little use. This kind of life of both working and farming made the 2 land reclamation warriors very satisfied. After Lu Ligan's addiction as chairman of a listed company passed, he faced the increasingly cold housing market. Although he had a bulging pocket and didn't have to worry about cash flow, he had to worry about the future of the company. Now that they were a listed company, unlike before, Lu Ligan now feels more pressure on performance and pressure on annual financial reports. By luck this year, they pushed out all the projects in their hands while those stupid big guys were still covering the market, and completed this year's sales target ahead of schedule. The financial report will have a number that is not ugly, and can be explained to the capital market. When others feel the chill, they can wear cotton-padded jackets and crack melon seeds by the stove. It can even be said that this is the most relaxing second half of the year for them. But what about next year? Where will the growth point be next year? When there is no listing, in this year, they can curl up, hold on to their money bags and live their lives, letting the east, west, north, and south winds blow, and hide in a small building to unite. But now it is impossible. From the day they went public, there was no way out. No matter whether the real estate market is cold or hot, investors need you to give a beautiful number. Lu Ligan now feels that this listing will not only did he put a bridle on himself, but he also found a whip for himself, and there were countless dads holding whips. The whips hit you, making it difficult for you to stop. It's impossible not to take risks. If you don't take risks, there will be opportunities. How can they produce so many projects and achieve tens of billions of sales? Considering the size of their current company, it is not possible to support the sales of 1 or 2 properties. The inflated company before going public allowed them to get more money in the capital market, but it also put Lu Li in a difficult position. He didn't want to become a laughing stock in the capital market after 2 years of listing. Lu Ligan did not start smoking cigars like he imagined a high-end person would, but he started smoking pipes. He bought a signature pipe like the poet Wen Yuduo from the internet and started smoking. The tobacco was cut by himself from China cigarettes. Peel it open one by one and stuff it in. Lu Ligang held his pipe in his mouth and stood in front of the map of Hangzhou posted on the wall. He looked at it carefully. His eyes first stopped at the Jianghan district in the east of the city. The Hangzhou city government proposed a 150 billion decisive battle. In the east, it has been more than a year, but Lu Ligan believes that the time is still premature and what is blown is still a bubble. Talking about the reconstruction of subways, intercity expressways, canals, and the East Railway Station, there are many highlights, but Lu Ligan feels that 2 fatal points have not yet been resolved. The first is Jianqiao Airport. After the civilian airport in Hangzhou was transferred to Xiaoshan International Airport, Jianqiao Airport was not abandoned like airports in other cities. Instead, it returned to a military airport. Moreover, Jianqiao Airport can be said to be the history of the Chinese Air Force. The most famous airport in the world, to this day, in addition to actual combat readiness needs, it also has the value of historical relics. The relocation of such an airport is not something that can be decided by the Hangzhou city or even the Zhejiang provincial government. So far, we have not heard of any plans to relocate the Jianqiao Airport. If there was one, Lu Ligan would definitely know about it. As long as Jianqiao Airport is not relocated, the development of large-scale residential areas in Jianqiao, Dingqiao and even Sanbao area will be subject to many restrictions. Another point is the living habits of Hangzhou people. The western part of Hangzhou is a cultural district formed by history. No matter how far you go west, Hangzhou people feel that they still live in the city. To the east, not many years ago, after passing the Qingchun overpass, there was a vegetable field. After passing the Gentian overpass, Hangzhou people felt that they were in the countryside. The people there all spoke with Xiaoshan and Shaoxing accents, which are similar to the old-fashioned Hangzhou people. The urban dialect is different. When buying a house, locals in Hangzhou still prefer to go west or north, and are not willing to go east to the countryside. This is just like Shanghai locals who are reluctant to go to Pudong. The same Qianzhong New City includes parts of Jianghan District and Shangcheng District of Hangzhou. It doesn't matter if outsiders buy a house. They feel that there is not much difference between here and there in the Qianzhong New City. But when locals in Hangzhou buy a house, I still habitually choose a location close to the original uptown area. This is why houses in the west of Hangzhou are generally more expensive than in the east. Xiaosha has become a depression in Hangzhou's housing prices, although there is now a higher education park there. Lu Ligan smoked a cigarette and stared at the map on the wall. In the middle of the smoke, he moved his eyes to the west of the city. He focused on the Jianghan area. He felt that if he wanted to make a map suitable for the needs of his company, for this project, I am afraid that only Jianghan can have such a large area of land, although Jianghan is a little far away from the traditional cultural and educational district. But it is still connected. As long as it is connected, it will be an extension of the cultural district and can attract the attention of many Hangzhou people. Apart from Jianghan, Lu Ligan couldn't see any big plots of land for the time being, and it was no longer possible for a company like theirs to make a small fuss. Lu Ligan walked back to his desk and put the pipe into the ashtray. He picked up the phone on the desk and dialed the number of Director Chu of the Collection and Storage Center. As soon as the call came through, Director Chu cursed, "What the hell are you doing? Where did you go recently? Why can't you be seen?" "Why, do you miss me?" Lu Ligan laughed, "You really should. I don't want to let my Yushulinfan be sorry." "Go away, I don't have that strong taste," Director Chu scolded. "The weather is nice today, how's it going, Lao Chu?" Lu Ligan asked if the weather was good, so it was suitable for activities. Director Chu said, "Okay, you can make arrangements. I'm very busy here, so I won't say more to you. Don't pretend to be so busy with your day. This is a big company. If you have a lot of work to do, I'll text you at 5:30, Lu Ligan said. "Okay, get lost." Director Chu hung up the phone after saying that. The land in Hangzhou has long been subject to bidding, auction, and listing. Director Chu has long had no say in the price of land. As for the early days, Lu Ligan did what he did to make a fuss about the floor area ratio, but now it is difficult to do so. But there is one power that Director Chu still has, and that is, among the huge amount of acquired land in their collection and storage center, Director Chu can decide which plots to choose and when to auction them. Even if there is no land for purchase and storage, it is also the authority of their collection and storage center to decide when to purchase and store it. Lu Ligan was optimistic about Jianghan. He wanted to find out how much land there was in Jianghan and when it could be auctioned. It was best to sell it out at once, so that Lu Ligan could make early plans. "Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Zipanjiang 1, Brother Bing, PCM 600812, Shi Yitan, Book Friends 201809062232049344, Book Friends 20190110118025224314, Yuangzi, Humor Tribe, Void Broken Dreams, Book Friends 2019010420175818, Cup Guy API for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1455. Lu Ligan called Tan Shahan and Lao Tan to his office and told them the results of his outing with Director Chu last night. Of course, he did not tell them the content of the activity. Originally, in the first half of next year, the Land Acquisition and Storage Center would focus on launching plots in the east, launching land in Dingqiao, Jubao, and Kaibao. Only one plot in Jiangkan would be launched. But now, Director Chu agreed to step up the leveling and strive for in the first half of next year, 4 pieces of land in Jiangkan will be released at one time, totaling 320 acres, thus meeting Lu Ligan's requirements. Why don't we go and take the land in the east? Isn't this in line with the city government's policy of decisively fighting in the east? Tan Shuhan asked. Lu Ligan told them his concerns. After listening to them, the two of them felt that it made sense. However, they still felt that it was risky for Lu Ligan to invest so much in Jiangkan. Lao Tan said that Jiangkan was not ready yet. Mature, the location is a bit remote. With such a large investment, will it turn it into a second city in the sky? No, I went to the planning bureau and saw that there is no breakpoint between Wenai West Road and Jiangkan, as well as Zixi. Now I feel that it is biased precisely because the Jiangkan area has not been developed in large areas. If our 450,000 square meters are gone, the appearance of Jiangkan will be completely changed. Why don't we get up here? Lu Ligan asked. More than 300 acres, how much capital is needed? Tan Shuhan asked. No matter how much it is, we must do whatever it takes. The only big project we can win next year is this one. Otherwise, we can only go to the east, to Dingqiao and the east. I said, Jianqiao airport relocation before the knot in the hearts of Hangcheng people was resolved, it was not a suitable place for investment, Lu Ligan said. Lu Ligan stood up and walked to the map of Hangzhou. He pointed to the Hanghai Road area on the map and told Lao Tan and Tan Shuhan that if we really wanted to enter the east, we would wait for the land here and go up along the Jiantang River. This is the second phase of Jianzhong New City. We have invested all our money and energy here after leaving Jiangkan. This will be the bright spot in the east in the future. Tan Shuhan and Lao Tan, although they still had doubts in their hearts, remained silent. Fortunately, there are still several months until next year. Who knows how the situation will change, and who knows whether Lu Ligan will change his mind in the meantime. Let's put this aside for now. After deciding to capture Jiangkan, Lu Ligan would often drive to Jiangkan when he had nothing to do. The more he ran, the more confident he became and the more he felt that his judgment was correct. After the big goal and direction were determined, Lu Ligan felt that he could relax a little more. He Dongmei from Chongqing stopped working. Almost at the same time, Zhang Chen and his half-acre general agent in Zhengzhou also stopped working. It was not because the house was to be demolished, but because the landlord wanted to increase the price, which was almost doubled. You don't want the rent, but the restaurant owners are waiting behind you to ask for it. After all the calculations, it turned out that Zhang Chen and his half-acre general agent in Zhengzhou could not make much money. They had no choice but to quit when the business was good. They simply stopped making clothes and took the money they had earned from making clothes in the past few years, and partnered with others to open a bar. We lost 2 general agents at once, especially the one in Chongqing. It turned out that one of their largest agents, Ban Mutian's clothing sales, dropped a lot. Fortunately, Target increased its orders and took advantage of the vacant space. The production capacity has been replenished, and from the factory's perspective, there is no loss. Zhao Zhigang also welcomed this, saying that if there are domestic sales, there are foreign trade orders. But for Zhang Chen, he still feels a little lonely. At this time, no one needs to tell him. He himself feels that clothing is already a sunset industry. He is dying and God knows when he will die. On the other hand, what puzzled Zhang Chen was that e-commerce showed a different scene. It did not show signs of stagnation at all. On the contrary, it was booming and sales were increasing month by month. Xiaoli and Zhang Chen said, "It's not that no one wants clothes, how is that possible? If everyone doesn't need clothes, then they all take to the streets naked? Sales are still there, Mr. Zhang, but the sales method is changing. You must know that people who like to buy clothes are the most passionate about life. They are also the most receptive to new things, so there are more and more of them. People choose to buy clothes online at Taobao. Zhang Chen thought about it, maybe what Xiaoli said made sense. Debo.com also began to realize that online advertising might be one of their important sources of income. They began to charge for advertisements that appeared on Debo.com. Zhang Chen and the others invested heavily and always occupied the best position. At the same time, Mr. Ma's main website, the international website, has also launched a bidding ranking of Chinese suppliers since last year. That is, if you want to rank first on the website for a certain exported product, you need to pay the most, and the order of products is no longer based on the number of views, but on how much you pay. Zhang Chen and the others bought 10 keywords last year, and they all ranked first in searches for these 10 keywords. Zhang Chen asked Su Qiaxin, which products do you want to choose and buy keywords for this year? No, don't spend that damn money, Su Qiaxin said. Why? If you rank first, you will find and see more customers. If you have more customers, you will get more inquiries. Isn't this bad? Zhang Chen asked. There are a lot of inquiries, but now I don't even want to be that damn Chinese supplier. I open my mailbox every day and see dozens of inquiries forwarded from Zheng Huiyang's website. I don't even bother to reply to any of them. I'm too lazy to read it, just delete it in the recycle bin, don't waste my mailbox space, Su Qiaxin said angrily. Zhang Chen became more and more confused as he listened. He said, I don't understand this. Su Qiaxin, please speak clearly. Speak clearly, okay, boss. Let me make it clear to you. Those inquiries are similar to spam emails and have no value at all. Indeed, foreign customers are now looking for products through Zheng Huiyang's ghost website. It's very convenient, but at the same time, it's also very casual. Do you know this? Su Qiaxin said. Zhang Chen shook his head and said, I don't know, I'm not in this business. For example, the boss, a ghost guy, is looking for a wedding dress. What will he do? When he looks at it, wow, there are hundreds of wedding dress companies on this website. After he writes an inquiry letter, I started mass mailing and sent it to hundreds of companies. What the hell, we just received such an inquiry, and we were very serious about it. We carefully checked the price according to his request, and even argued with that damn Zhao's Hegang to get the lowest price. A quote, if you check it carefully and implement it seriously, it will take an hour or two. Once the result is sent out, it will disappear. At first we didn't know what happened, but later that damn Jerry told me. What did he tell you? Zhang Chen asked. Jerry told me that when he is fine, he will also send out inquiries like this. Even for orders that he has clearly placed, he will also send out inquiries everywhere. For no reason, just to get more price information. Anyway, writing an inquiry letter is not difficult, it only takes a minute or two. After the inquiry was sent out, dozens or hundreds of emails came back all at once. He picked one or two to read, and he knew what he knew. He didn't even bother to open the other emails. Oh my God, we spent several hours. It was calculated based on time. People are too lazy to open it and they are just teasing us, Grandma Su Qiaxin said. That's also possible. It's just Jerry, but not others, Zhang Chen said. Po Yi, it's all the same, these damn things all have the same virtues, none of them are good. Su Qiaxin scolded, we have calculated that after we send the quotation to this kind of online inquiry, only 0.1% of them get a reply. It is useless at all. Don't listen to what Mr. Ma is talking about. There is no difficult business in the world. On the internet, there are just such unreliable things. We are too lazy to click on their websites now, Su Qiaxin said. Is this too extreme? Zhang Chen asked. No, boss, I won't lie to you. I have tried and worked hard. For a while, I asked each of them to go to the mailbox of our Chinese supplier every day, claim 5 emails, and then give the customer a quotation. I executed a period of after a while, the effect was 0, and it made everyone miserable, so I gave up because I felt it was too unreliable, Su Qiaxin said. Then where do your current customers come from? Zhang Chen asked. Let's go the old way, or collect the business cards from the trade fair, and then call them. Boss, think about it, why is it that Mr. Ma's bragging gets bigger and bigger, but more and more people are participating in the Canton Fair? It used to be one issue, but now it's still one. It's the second and third issue, and his one doesn't work. You know, I've asked several companies, and they're almost all in the same situation as us. Su Qiaxin scolded, it's his grandma's fault. However, the growth of our website is real, Zhang Chen said, this can't be fake, you can see it too. The model is different. On Dabao.com, our clothes are hung there. People place orders if they like it, or at least come to our customer service to chat. They are still individuals, not just air. How is this different from our transactions? It is not face-to-face. Transaction. Boss, think about it again, why did their original crappy website become less and less popular after they established Dabao.com? Su Qiaxin asked, and Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. Really, when people today talk about Teacher Ma, they don't just think of Dabao.com, but how many people still think of his original website. He turned out to be a liar. Before Dabao.com, he couldn't make any money at all. The scammer succeeded in counterattacking. Now he can trick people everywhere. I scolded Zheng Huiyang last time, Su Qiaxin said. Why are you scolding Zheng Huiyang? Zhang Chen was surprised. She wants to trick me into doing that bidding ranking. She offended me first, Su Qiaxin said, and Zhang Chen laughed. Did she not dare to come to you to complain? Su Qiaxin said proudly, I even said that she had nothing to say. We presented the facts and reasoned it, without relying on deception, and she was convinced. Thank you to Zhang Zhongzhong, who, the chair in the world, book friends 202009111601099750, and book friends 201809062232049344 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1456. Xiaofang called Zhang Chen and told him that something big might happen on Wall Street. What's wrong? Zhang Chen asked. CDs will have problems, Xiaofang said. We predicted at the beginning of the year that CDs might have problems and have issued early warnings. Now that our company is shrinking, it is difficult to say whether we can survive alone. What is CDs? Zhang Chen asked. Translated into Chinese, they are called credit default swaps, financial derivatives, similar to insurance policies, financial derivatives insurance policies, but much more complicated than insurance policies, with layers of leverage added, and a loan of $100 billion through CDs, will tens of trillions of funds are involved, but the source is subprime debt. I don't understand, Zhang Chen said with a smile. What are subordinated debts? Money is given to people who shouldn't be given it, especially housing loans, to those who are unable to repay or even have a fixed income. House prices have been rising, and when interest rates are very low, there may not be a problem, but as long as housing prices stagnate and loan interest rates increase, a large number of loan defaults will occur, Xiaofang said. I understand a little bit, Zhang Chen said. But the financial institutions that lend to these people, their money is not their own, but it is raised from the financial market through the CDs I mentioned, with dozens of times of leverage, so if there is a problem at the source, it will cause a domino effect, and a series of financial institutions and insurance companies will have problems. Will it affect us? Zhang Chen asked. Yes, brother-in-law, I'm calling you to remind you that the direct impact is that the US dollar will depreciate, and the magnitude will be great. Therefore, the money in brother-in-law's offshore account must be hedging, Xiaofang said. How to deal with it? Zhang Chen asked. Switch to a safe haven currency, such as the Japanese yen or Australian dollar, or gold. Zhang Chen said, okay, how to deal with it? I will ask Zhao Jingjing and Su Qiaxin to contact you. Xiaofang said yes. Also, brother-in-law, if the risks expand and the depreciation of the US dollar becomes a long-term trend, you should also pay attention to indirect risks, Xiaofang said. What risk? Zhang Chen asked. Exports will be affected, Xiaofang said. I have also been studying Target, and I think their risks are very high. What's wrong? Zhang Chen was shocked and asked. Many of their products, especially home improvement materials, are for mortgages. As you know, Target's customers are themselves victims of subprime debt. If they can't even repay their mortgages, you think you can still afford the renovation money? Xiaofang said. Also, Target and their wedding plans can also be mortgaged. Doesn't this directly affect you? Zhang Chen said yes, if this is the case, there is indeed a risk. However, what we do with them is FOB price, which is FOB price. When they place an order, they will pay a deposit first, and our goods will be delivered to Shanghai port. They will pay all the money for the goods. This shouldn't be a big risk, right? Theoretically yes, but there are still cases. For example, they paid a deposit, but when your product was delivered to Shanghai port, they couldn't pay the rest. The deposit should be very small, right? Xiaofang asked. 10%, Zhang Chen said. Yes, if your 20 or 30 containers are all backlogged at the dock and they cannot pay for 90% of the goods, you will still suffer losses, right? Xiaofang continued to ask. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly and said, you don't need to go to the dock. As long as I continue to arrange production here, if this happens, the losses will be tragic. This batch of goods will be piled up in the factory. Who will I sell to? Well, brother-in-law, so be careful. Xiaofang thought for a moment and said, brother-in-law, I think you can make some adjustments and spread out the orders, fast in and fast out. How to do it? Zhang Chen asked. I don't know much about factories, brother-in-law, but I think it is theoretically feasible. For example, if he originally placed an order for 30 cabinets, you would ask that this order be divided into 30 small orders, one order for each cabinet. The same is true in production. Production is arranged one by one, shipments are made one by one, and payments are collected one by one. I understand, Xiaofang. Zhang Chen interrupted Xiaofang, in this way, even if the risks you mentioned occur, we will only have a few containers at the dock and production line at most. Yes, brother-in-law, this reduces the risk to the greatest extent, although it may be a little troublesome, Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen nodded and said, Xiaofang, your method is good. You are not afraid of trouble. I will make arrangements and do this. Brother-in-law, maybe I'm just worried about things in vain, Xiaofang said. Qi people are very good. They have a sense of urgency. It's scary to be a blind man trying to grasp an elephant, Zhang Chen said, and Xiaofang giggled. Thank you, Xiaofang, Zhang Chen said. Why thank me? Isn't it my family's business? Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen looked at his watch. It was already past 11 o'clock at noon. It was past 10 o'clock in the evening at Xiaofang's place. Zhang Chen asked Xiaofang, had Zhang Xiangbei slept? Already asleep, Xiaofang said. Xiaofang, do you want to sleep now? Zhang Chen asked. Xiaofang smiled and said, I'm still early, I still have information to read. Then I'll ask Zhao Jingjing and Su Qiaxin to call you later, okay, Zhang Chen said. Of course, Xiaofang smiled, I can ask them to wake me up if I fall asleep, it's okay. Zhang Chen also smiled and said yes. Don't say thank you, brother-in-law, Xiaofang seemed to know what Zhang Chen was going to say next, so she said it immediately. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Okay, no thank you, this is what you should do." Xiaofang smiled and said, "That's pretty much it? I like what you said." Zhang Chen put down the phone and immediately called Su Qiaxin and Zhao Jingjing over. He told them what Xiaofang said on the phone. Both of them were shocked when they heard it. Su Qiaxin shouted, "I'm going, Grandma, the undercurrent is raging." Zhang Chen glanced at her and said, "Yes, this word is used accurately." Su Qiaxin giggled. Zhang Chen and Zhao Jingjing said, "Go over and contact Xiaofang, and she will teach you how to deal with it. If it doesn't work, Zhao Jingjing, just give the transfer password directly to Xiaofang and ask her to help with the operation." Zhao Jingjing said yes. Zhang Chen and Su Qiaxin said, "You go and deal with the offshore account first. After that, you and I go to the factory to discuss with your dam Zhao's Higang how to adjust production, and then you ask us to place the order. Break your thoughts into pieces and contact your dam Jerry." Su Qiaxin said yes. The two men walked out. After more than an hour, the two people came back. Zhao Jingjing and Zhang Chen said that everything was taken care of. Zhang Chen said yes. He stood up and said to Su Qiaxin, "Let's go to see your dam Zhao's Higang." "Aren't you going to eat?" Su Qiaxin asked. It was already past 12 o'clock. "Are you hungry?" Zhang Chen asked. Su Qiaxin quickly said, "If you are not hungry, I will not be hungry. Let's go to the factory to eat." Zhang Chen called and wanted to call Xiao Wu, but Su Qiaxin shouted, "Don't call that damn Xiao Wu, I'll call him." Zhang Chen was surprised. When did Xiao Wu become dead Xiao Wu? Su Qiaxin giggled. When they got to the car, Zhang Chen asked Su Qiaxin, "Didn't I get a car for you? Why, you haven't enjoyed driving it yet?" Su Qiaxin pouted and said, "I didn't even drive much. I asked that damn Xiao to drive with me, but he just refused to go." "Hello, boss. Boss, let me tell you, you are sitting next to me. When I drive, I feel like extremely relaxing." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "If you hit me, I will pay for it anyway." No, I'm an experienced driver, and I crashed the car, which was embarrassing. Only novices like Xiaoli and others would do such a thing." Zhang Chen laughed and said, "The veteran driver didn't dare to go on the road alone, so he wanted Xiao Wu to accompany him. No, when I go, that Xiaoli is also going. This damn thing is always trying to grab the steering wheel. How dare I take her with me? Last time I went out, I bumped into an uncle. I just bumped into him, but he wasn't hurt. The uncle slapped the hood and yelled at us. We almost cried because of his yelling. If Xiao Wu is here, everything will be fine," Su Qiaxin said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "It turns out you brought Xiao Wu with you as a bodyguard." Su Qiaxin sighed, "But this damn Xiao doesn't want to. He keeps avoiding us." They arrived at the factory and called Zhao's Higang over. Zhang Chen told Zhao's Higang about the matter. Zhao's Higang said, "In this case, do I have to change the large order to a small order here? The fabrics and accessories must be placed in cabinets. Order. Production also needs to be rearranged." Zhang Chen is right. In this case, the price of noodle ingredients will be more difficult to negotiate, Zhao's Higang said. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, "This is how it works. You place a general order with them and ask them to prepare the materials, but the shipment must be done in batches. If one of us shouts ka, they will just prepare the materials. It doesn't matter what the materials are. If they don't produce ours, they can produce other ones without any loss." Zhao's Higang said, "Yes, this is fine." After Zhao's Higang had discussed and decided, Zhang Chen asked Su Qiaxin and Jerry to contact each other and tell them their requirements. "Boss, it's midnight in the United States. Do you want me to go find that damn Jerry at this time? Su Kioxin asked. Zhang Chen laughed and said that I forgot. Okay, you can contact him again in the evening. Boss, have you forgotten something? Su Kioxin asked. What's the matter? Zhang Chen was surprised and asked. You forgot that we haven't had lunch yet, Su Kioxin said. It's already past 2 o'clock. No, the cafeteria is closed now. Lao Fu and the others are off work and there is no food to eat. Zhao Zhigang immediately shouted, you can find your own way out. At this time, every store on number 1 road was closed. Zhang Chen and the others drove all the way to Xintang Road, turned in and drove to Jingfang, only to find a Xinfan snack shop open, and the two of them ate shrimp, meat wontons and steamed buns. Zhang Chen also ordered a bowl of beef vermicelli. In the evening, Su Kioxin called Zhang Chen and told him, that damn Jerry must ask me why we did this. Boss, how should I tell him? You are so smart, but you can't think of a reason, Zhang Chen asked. I don't know either. This damn Jerry keeps asking, and I'm confused by him, Su Kioxin said. Zhang Chen thought for a while and told Su Kioxin that the textile factory was very busy with orders now and could not produce so many goods at once, but we had already negotiated with them and they could arrange 2 looms every day to produce our products. In this way, our factory also needs to make adjustments according to the supply of fabrics, and produce 1 or 2 cabinets of finished products every day. This is a good reason. Once the things are ready, why send them to the factory? Of course, they will be sent to them every day, and they can arrange them easily, Su Kioxin said. Yes, that's the reason, Zhang Chen said. At around 2 o'clock in the morning, Su Kioxin sent Zhang Chen a text message with 2 words, it's done. Zhang Chen replied with a text message, thank you for your hard work, go to bed early. Thank you Uncle Wang Pacino for the reward. Thank you Uncle Wang Pacino, Evergreen Yan Dotty, Cup Guy API, Zizhiw, Book Friends 160403163531329, haha 99223, Green PU Eco Home Ecological Wood 12340000000A, Lulu 6717P11, Humor Tribe, 161122213501799, Zonkai 727, Bulletins Line, Huandian Electrical and Mechanical, Shio 2018090622320494, Purple Ha, Lao Chen Tang, Shio 201906211331102536, Mo Shang Yuweng, Josie, Gongzimian Z, Shio 201701130912185553, Shio 0910261531555820, Shio 20200903172759,311, Blue Imagination Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1457. Zhang Chen and the others made adjustments here, and began to break the large order into parts, and put them out one by one. However, Target was quiet and there was nothing unusual all the time, including the payment. After receiving Zhang Chen after they sent the documents, the payment was immediately made. Whether it was 1 container or 2 containers, Zhao Jingjing issued it every day, and they made the payment every day. This made Zhang Chen, Zhao Jingjing, and Su Kioxin all heave a sigh of relief. Su Kioxin asked, Boss, is this a false alarm? Zhang Chen said, I hope you use the word correctly this time. But the US dollar, as Xiaofang expected, has been depreciating. Zhao Jingjing and Zhang Chen said that if our offshore accounts were still full of US dollars, we would lose more than 6 million this month. Mr. Zhang, are you really? Thank you, Xiao Fang. She wouldn't let me thank you. Zhang Chen laughed. Zhao Jingjing stared at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen raised his head and asked her, what are you looking at? Is there anything worth seeing? I have something to say, Mr. Zhang, I don't know if I can say it, Zhao Jingjing said. That's what you said, Zhang Chen said with a smile. Why are you hesitating? Mr. Zhang, do you think you and Xiao Fang are a good match? Zhao Jingjing said. What do you mean? Zhang Chen didn't understand and asked. Look, this Xiao Fang not only looks very similar to Xiao Zhao, but her personality and behavior are also very similar to Xiao Zhao. Mr. Zhang, if you too. Zhang Chen looked at Zhao Jingjing and understood. He laughed and cursed, don't talk nonsense, don't mess up our simple relationship. She is Xiao Zhao's sister, Zhang Xiangbei's aunt, and also mine. Family, do you understand? Zhao Jingjing murmured, I'm not the only one who says this, everyone in our financial center says this. If you can be together, everyone will feel that there is not much difference with Xiao Zhao. Stop it, no nonsense is allowed, do you understand? Zhang Chen said. Okay, Zhao Jingjing turned around and walked out. Zhang Chen looked at her back and shook his head. Zhang Chen pays attention to the news in the United States every day. He gradually understands what is going on with subprime mortgages and CDs. He knows that the crisis is still spreading in the United States, and the Federal Reserve is constantly appearing in the news. How many billions of dollars were injected into this institution, how many billions of dollars were injected into that institution, and they were in a hurry, as if the dollars were not dollars, but water. Zhang Chen also knew that European banks also had problems of this kind, because they also participated in the CDs chain game, got themselves in, and couldn't get out. Zhang Chen felt a little worried when he read the news every day. However, because Target was safe and sound and no actual harm occurred, Zhang Chen felt that these things were far away from him. When watching the news, he felt like he was watching from afar. Although Xiao Fang told him every time he called, things were not that simple. The shock had just begun and was far from over. The global economy and financial markets were integrated. When the United States was about to be destroyed, China would not be the same. Will be alone. Zhang Chen felt that this was a bit alarmist. What else could be done? For so many years, you, the United States, have been eating meat, and we have been drinking soup. This time, we can't lose sight of each other. You come to see us eating meat? Among them, there are two things that make Zhang Chen happy. One is because last year he accurately predicted the coming subprime mortgage risks and put forward risk warnings to help the company manage risks and make their company become the leader of the entire Wall Street. One of the few companies that can stay out of this crisis and still make a fortune. As a result, Xiao Fang was promoted and became the general manager of the department. This was a rocket speed for an Asian woman who had only been in the company for more than a year. Wall Street originally had more men than women. This made Xiao Fang quickly become a celebrity in the circle. She also got a nickname, Chemical Fang, which sounded like Terror Alley. I felt that she also horrible enough. Another thing to be happy about is that Li Yong has also been promoted. On Saturday, Li Yong came to Zhang Chen's office. Lu Ligan saw him and shouted, Li Yong, should I avoid him? If you want, Li Yong said, you avoid going to the vegetable market to buy seafood. We will cook at the side of the stove today, but I am treating you. As Li Yong said this, he took out his wallet and wanted to pay Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan cursed, have you been promoted and your salary increased, so you talk so richly? Lu Ligan did not take Li Yong's money and took Xiao Wu out. Love or not, our relationship has a clean history and everyone knows it, and I'm not afraid of taking advantage of you, Lu Ligan. Li Yong cursed at Lu Ligan's back, and Lu Ligan raised his hand and made an okay gesture behind him. Li Yong and Zhang Chen sat down on the sofa. Zhang Chen made tea for Li Yong and asked, "How do you feel? What does it feel like?" "You mean getting promoted?" Li Yong shook his head. "I don't feel it." "Really, Zhang Chen? I won't lie to you. How you did things in the past is still the same as what you do next. Even the content of the work has not changed much. It turns out that isn't it just a snake oil? I have to take care of everything, and that's what happens next. If I really have to worry about anything, it's outside of work." "What is it?" Zhang Chen asked with concern. "Build a team," Li Yong said. "As you know, I have always been difficult to get along with. The boss called me there that day and reminded me of this. I heard that the guy over there is not a good person, and his behavior is a bit domineering," Zhang Chen said. "I know, I suffered enough when I took office," Li Yong said, "but I'm not afraid. I just adhere to one principle, that is, to be worthy of the organization at the top, and to be worthy of the people at the bottom, put personal interests aside, and isolate others. I don't care who you are, there's nothing you can do to me." Zhang Chen nodded. "Zhang Chen, think about it, it's an accident that I went from being the head of Township Li back then to now. What else do I have to care about?" Li Yong said with a smile. "I'm going to Qiang's place to see the parking lot. I have been preparing for it for many years but never had the chance." "Nonsense, don't talk nonsense like this," Zhang Chen said. "I know, Zhang Chen, I'm just here to talk in front of you. Why, do I still have to keep a straight face and speak in an official tone when I get here?" "Are you tired?" Li Yong said. "Otherwise I will come here." "What are you doing here?" "I'm here just to get out of the water and take a breath and feel like a normal person." Zhang Chen nodded and said, "Okay, I understand what you said." Zhang Chen remembered and told Li Yong about the last time he saw Lu Yun in Jinmao Tower in Shanghai. After listening, Li Yong was silent, clasped his hands together, and pressed hard with his thumbs. After a while, "Yes," he sighed and said, "it seems that my sister has made up her mind not to contact us. Otherwise, it would not be easy for her to find us." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I think so too. I think she just doesn't want to be disturbed, otherwise I would have asked someone to find her. She should be working in Jinmao Tower." Zhang Chen then told Li Yong about Gong Shui. Zhang Chen said, "I suspect that this Gong Shui is Lu Yun." "There's no doubt, it's her," Li Yong said. "I understand her desire to have some kind of connection with the past, but she's afraid to reveal the scars. So many things happened in the past, how can she just erase them? Go, but the past was so miserable, who is willing to face it, and thinking about this, I just want to beat the hell out of me." After a while, Li Yong sighed again and said, "Zhang Chen, it's a pity that it wasn't you that my sister met at that time. If it were you, this would be another story." Zhang Chen felt strange in his heart. What was going on? Why did everyone associate Lu Yun with himself when they talked about Lu Yun? Didn't Lu Yun and himself go together in 8 poles? Now, can we hit them together with 1 pole? Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Li Yong, don't talk about me. Tell me honestly. Did you have a crush on Lu Yun when you were in school?" "I have," Li Yong said frankly. "What man wouldn't like such a beautiful, smart, and kind girl? However, our relationship became more and more innocent later on. Zhang Chen, I don't know, don't you understand, it's the kind of feeling that makes you feel that having evil thoughts is blasphemy, which makes our relationship become more and more simple. She is my sister, and I am her brother. To be honest, sometimes I really miss my sister. Really, Zhang Chen, there are some things that I feel I can't say to my wife, but if my sister is here, I will tell her, really." Li Yong then added, his eyes were a little red. Zhang Chen quickly changed the topic. He teased Li Yong. "Okay, Li Yong, I finally discovered your secret. You continue, you work hard to climb up. I can sell your secret at a price to see if any overseas media wants to acquire it. Go away, what's the secret?" Who doesn't have true feelings, Li Yong scolded. Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu came back. They came in carrying vest bags. Li Yong looked at Lu Ligan and cursed. Go away again, even if you want to bribe me, do it completely. Wash the things before bringing them in. What, you still want me to cut open the fish and wash the crabs? Lu Lizan handed all the bags in his hand to Xiao Wu and asked him to take them out. Li Yong cursed, don't bully Xiao Wu. Bureaucrat, Lu Ligan scolded, you look down on our Xiao Wu too much. Xiao Wu is upstairs, but he is a red man. He doesn't even have a chance to wash his own clothes. As soon as the wash basin is taken to the sink, some girls rushed to help him wash it. Is it true, Li Yong asked, I have to wash my own clothes? Come on, come and see if it's true. Lu Ligan waved to Li Yong. Li Yong and Zhang Chen were both curious. They walked over and looked towards the pool. They both laughed. Zhang Chen saw that there were indeed Xili, Su Kioxin, and others in the pool. Two girls from the e-commerce department were helping wash the seafood, while Xiao Wu was squatting on the flower bed smoking. How is it? Have you seen it, Li Yong? Don't think that you, a shabby mayor, are so great, Lu Ligan asked. Li Yong nodded repeatedly, okay, now that I've seen it, I feel ashamed. Xiao Wu and I don't dare to compare. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you to Shell Rice Chong, DTHBY, Tiangziu Netizen, Jinwu Lonji, Book Friends 2020091116010975, Book Friends 202003182329565119, Zonkai 727, Book Friends 201901042017583118, Guandian Mechanical and Electrical, and Zixi Zi for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1458. At the end of the year, the most exciting news for Zhang Chen was that good news continued to come from Christie's Hong Kong and Beijing Guardian auctions. Chinese oil paintings soared this year, and auction prices increased compared to previous years. Not even 10 times more. Su Biong's oil painting Put Down Your Whip was sold for 72 million Hong Kong dollars, Chen Yifei's Ode to the Yellow River was sold for 40.32 million yuan, and Wu Guanzong's Hibiscus and Northern Scenery were sold respectively. The auction price was 39.2 million yuan and 31.68 million Hong Kong dollars. Zhang Chen and others have the works of these people here, and there are quite a lot of them, and their value is even much higher than the works being auctioned. For example, the 2 oil paintings that Wu Guanzhong himself gave to them at the Lakeside Oil Painting Museum can be said to be Wu Guanzong's works. A masterpiece among oil paintings. Not only these old artists, but also young painters such as Yu Minjun and Fang Lijun, their works also sold for more than 30 million Hong Kong dollars. Yu Minjun's most famous series of smiling faces was bought by Yao Fen in one go when he came back from Beijing. 8 pieces. Zhao Xian and Zhang Chen said they didn't dare to forget about it. Boss, I didn't dare to forget about the value of the current collection of our oil painting museum. I dare not calculate the value, but Zhao Xian doubled the number of security guards on duty at night, and their oil painting studio has become a key security unit of the Xiakan Public Security Bureau. When Lu Ligan heard the news, he told Zhang Chen, I never thought that your oil painting studio is more valuable than my entire dragon family. All my houses have been sold and belong to me. You don't have a set, but you still have them all in your hands. You are so damn rich that you can't beat the country. Go away, Zhang Chen scolded, how can your crappy project compare to mine? If you sell it, the money will go into your own pocket. Mine, no matter how high the value, is still a public product. The public is in the oil painting museum. You can still see them and they won't run into anyone's living room. In this sense, they still belong to Hangzhou and the public. Don't flaunt yourself, Lu Ligan scolded. When I walk on the street and everyone can see it, am I also a public product? You are not a public product, you are a bus. From this woman's stop to the next woman's stop, Xiao Wu said from the side, and Zhang Chen laughed. Lu Ligan also laughed and said, this is not bad. It would be better to have a few more people buy monthly passes. Zhang Chen asked Zhao Xian to organize several students from the Academy of Fine Arts to copy a batch of paintings from their oil painting studios and hang them in clubs in Shanghai, Beijing, and Hangzhou. Under each painting, there was a special note. The original works are collected in our company's Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery in Hangzhou has established a connection between their oil painting gallery and these clubs. It not only expanded the popularity of their oil painting studio, but also increased the weight of their club. The most important thing is that these parts of the club really need oil paintings. Zhang Chen thought that instead of copying other people's collections, it would be better to copy their own collection. What Zhang Chen didn't expect was that these works were constantly being bought and sold as oil paintings, and unexpectedly became one of their liu customization businesses. Especially the works of Xiaoshu, the albums of their Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery are displayed in all clubs. Many customers who have seen his sister know that this painter has such a close relationship with their company, so they ask Xiaoshu to paint their portraits and offered a high price. In this way, Xiaoshu had to travel to Beijing and Shanghai frequently. Later, he felt that it was really too much. These customized works also squeezed out his own creative time. Xiaoshu asked Xiaomi to help him reduce orders. Xiaomi, after thinking about it, she felt that it would not be good to refuse directly. She simply more than doubled the price of a portrait of Xiaoshu to 1.5 million. Xiaomi wanted to use this to reduce the number of customers in need. Unexpectedly, after the price increased, more customers requested to order. Those who had originally asked Xiaoshu to paint saw that the price of Xiaoshu suddenly increased so much. They felt that it was worth the money and asked Xiaoshu to draw pictures for them. There was no choice but to queue up. Customers in need signed up and paid a deposit, but the time needed to be arranged according to Xiaoshu's own time. This once again whetted everyone's appetite. Xiaomi and Zhang Chen said, Mr. Zhang, it's a pity. It would be great if we had 10 small trees. Zhang Chen smiled and said, if there were 10 of them, the small tree would be worthless. The phone on Zhang Chen's desk rang, and he picked it up. It was Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen asked, Zhang Chen, you have been in the office this afternoon, why don't you leave? Wait for me. I'll come over now and see you if I have something to do. Zhang Chen thought to himself, what's going on? You're doing it so seriously. Zhang Chen waited in the office for more than 10 minutes. Tan Shahen arrived. With her was a man in his 40s, who was small and had a fair face. Tan Shahen introduced them to each other and said that this was Zhou Bin. He also introduced to Zhou Bin that this was Mr. Zhang Chen. I know, I have long admired Mr. Zhang's name. Zhou Bin quickly held Zhang Chen's hand and said. Zhang Chen muttered in his heart, wondering what Zhou Bin was doing this time and what was the matter with him. Zhang Chen asked Zhou Bin to sit down on the sofa. Tan Shahen made 2 cups of tea, one for Zhou Bin and one for herself. She went to the desk again, took Zhang Chen's cup, added water and placed it in front of Zhang Chen. After finishing all this, Tan Shahen sat down on the sofa. Zhang Chen looked at Tan Shahen with questioning eyes. Tan Shahen said, Zhang Chen, this is the first time you have met Lao Zhou, but his daughter is no stranger to you. Who is his daughter? Zhang Chen asked. Zhou Ruyi, Tan Shahen said. Zhang Chen remembered and shouted, it's the one who played with Xiang Nan. We went to Sanya and Hongdian together, and this time we went to Shanghai to see off Zhang Xiangbei. Yes, Tan Shahen said. Zhang Chen quickly said to Zhou Bin, hello, so we should be old acquaintances. Zhou Bin smiled and breathed out a sigh of relief. Zhang Chen asked Tan Shahen, "What's the matter with you looking for me?" Tan Shahen and Zhou Bin said, "Lao Zhou, you and Mr. Zhang said it doesn't matter, they are all our own people. If you have anything to say, just say it." Zhang Chen looked at Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen was sitting next to Zhou Bin, behind him, a little helpless and smiling mischievously. Zhou Bin held it back for a while, and then started to talk to Zhang Chen. It was obvious that he was an honest man. When he told Zhang Chen, his face was a little red at first, as if he was shy to speak. Zhang Chen looked at him, listened carefully, and understood. It turned out that this time the city held an open recruitment for deputy bureau level leaders. There were a total of 12 deputy bureau level positions in 12 units. Civil servants in the city were invited to. There was an open recruitment process, and Zhou Bin also took part in the exam. He did well in the written exam and came in third place. Next came the more critical interview. The examiner for this interview is the new mayor Li Yong. Mr. Zhang, you also know that although examinations and interviews are necessary links, the final decision is still made by other factors. The competition for this recruitment is very fierce. After the examination, everyone starts to act. People like me, I don't have any background or connections. I want to make connections, but I don't know how. In the end, Zhou Ruyi's mother reminded me. She said that she heard that Mr. Zhang and Mayor Li have a very good relationship. I heard Zhou Ruyi say many times that Mr. Zhang is a very good person. He took good care of them when he went out several times. Mr. Zhang, I'm not afraid of your jokes, I really have no other way out, so I thought of coming to Mr. Zhang, it's really too presumptuous. Zhang Chen looked at Tan Shahen and cursed in his heart, you can do this kind of thing for me. Tan Shahen looked at him with a wry smile and helplessness on her face, which meant that I had no choice but to avoid it. Zhang Chen calmed down and thought about it. Tan Shahen was clearly in the company, so she could say hello to Lu Ligan, and Lu Ligan could also say hello. Why did he have to bring people here? After thinking for a while, he understood that according to Lu Ligan's character, he might refuse immediately, or pick up the phone and call Li Yong. Either way, it was not a good way to deal with it. Seeing Zhang Chen's silence, Zhou Bin smiled bitterly and said to himself, Mr. Zhang, although I have been in the agency for so many years, I have a hard-wired personality and can never learn to flatter others. So now, those who joined me have been promoted long ago. Only I am still a deputy chief clerk. I originally thought that this time might be an opportunity. I didn't rely on anyone but my own ability. I passed the exam hard, but I didn't expect that later on, the result would be the same. I still had to follow the same old path. Zhou Bin's sincere words sounded a little sad. Tan Shahen said, Zhang Chen, I know you are not willing to talk to Li Yong about this, but this time, can you help me? Lao Zhou and his wife are both honest people. Why, there must be no honest people a way out. Zhang Chen lowered his head and thought. After a while, he raised his head and said to Zhou Bin. Old Zhou, it's not that I don't want to help you or make this call. If you want to make a call, I can call you right away. I can also take you to Li Yong's house tonight. But, I can't do this. I do this. I hurt you. If I had called or taken you there, you would have had no chance at all. I know Li Yong too well. It's not that he doesn't give me face, he doesn't even give face to himself. Just look at it. All those who move around, no matter what relationship they have, and get to Li Yong's place, will eventually die. Seeking death. Lao Zhou, I really want to help you, but this way is really not helping, but a disservice. Zhou Bin looked ashen, knowing that this road was dead, and he almost believed that what Zhang Chen said was just an excuse. Lao Zhou, you still have a great chance. Since Li Yong is the examiner, I will tell you the story of Li Yong. Almost no one knows this story. After listening to it, you should understand that during your interview, how you should express yourself, you will know why I said, those who move around are seeking their own death. As Zhang Chen spoke, Zhou Bin's eyes lit up with light. He sat up straight and said, "Okay, Mr. Zhang, please tell me." Zhang Chen told Zhou Bin the story of Mayor Li. After that, Zhang Chen told Zhou Bin, "Old Zhou, please show your truest side and your truest thoughts on the position you are applying for. That's enough. I believe Li Yong will make his own judgment." Zhou Bin nodded thoughtfully. He seemed to know what he should do. Half a month later, the list of this selection was announced to the whole society in the Hangcheng Daily. Zhou Bin was appointed as the Deputy Director of the Hangzhou City Industrial and Commercial Administration Bureau, with a probation period of 1 year. "Thank you, Tin Soldier, for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for Mellow Blue, Zipanjiang 1, and How, Book Friends 201907121149242006, Hua and Youth, Star Morning 76, Lao Zi, I have 10 pieces of heart, Shi Yitan, Wu Yue Hao, Zongzi learns fishing, Yuzazai Liu, administrator on the 3rd floor of the library, Zhengji, North City Scholar, Humorous Tribe, Beyond One's Dream, Book Friends 201701130912185553, at Monthly Pass for Invisible Man. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1459. In 2008, for all Chinese people, the most anticipated event is of course the Beijing Summer Olympics. The media calls this year the Olympic year. But entering 2008, many Chinese, especially those in the South, feel that they have been beaten hard and feel that this year is destined to be an extraordinary year. Almost as soon as the bell rang at 0 o'clock on New Year's Day, it started to snow in Hangzhou. For Hangzhou, which had not had any serious snowfall in 2 years, the arrival of the snow brought a lot of excitement to people. Delighted. Hangzhou people have become accustomed to it. Whenever they see snow, they will think of the 4 words "snow on the broken bridge." Their first thought is to call friends and go to the West Lake with their cameras to see the snow. Take photos as a souvenir. In addition, it was a holiday on New Year's Day, so on this day, the West Lake was crowded with people watching the snow. The snow was also very suitable for the occasion, as if it knew people's expectations. It snowed very heavily on this day, but it only lasted 1 night. By the time people flocked to the West Lake was already covered with rime, and the sky, clouds, mountains, and the water is white above and below, and the shadows on the lake are just a trace of the long embankment and a pavilion in the center of the lake. It is already a world of ice and snow. If you hold up your camera, you can take in the scenery anywhere and it will be picturesque. Isn't it said that auspicious snow heralds a good year? It's almost the end of the year, and with such a heavy snowfall, everyone thinks it's a timely snowfall. The snow didn't stop, it kept falling, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. People gradually began to realize that something was wrong. There was no snow in their memory that could fall continuously for such a long time. This was not the plum rain in the plum rain season, which could keep falling. It turned out that the snowy days in Hangzhou could last continuously. If half a foot of snow accumulates on the ground the next day and night, it is considered heavy snow. But the snow this year has been falling all the time and has no intention of stopping. What do you mean? The temperature has also begun to drop sharply. It has been many years, and it has never been as cold as this year. Zhang Chen and the others are in the office, turning on the air conditioner, and it seems that the air conditioner is blowing out all the cold air. Even when they go to work, they all still need to wear down jackets and lie there bulky like a bear. The water pipes upstairs in the dynamic zone were frozen. Xiao and the others boiled water and poured water on the pipes all the way to the 1st floor. Only then did water start to flow out of the pipes. But the next day, it was not the problem with the water pipes upstairs, but the water pipes coming in from the first floor were frozen. The water pipes were buried underground and they had no way to water them. I called the water company. The water company said it was fine there, but it was frozen. In many places, the water pipes were cracked and exploded. Our maintenance staff were working around the clock to repair them, but they couldn't repair them. Okay, it's pretty good, and I finally feel a little relieved. But the water has stopped, so I can only boil snow water to wash my face. Xiao Wu simply rubs snow on my face every day, which is considered as washing my face. The snow kept falling, with no intention of stopping. When they looked at the snow, they no longer had so many romantic feelings. They just found it annoying, so why didn't they stop? The streets were already freezing, and the sanitation workers couldn't clear the snow as fast as it was falling. It became very difficult to even drive from Splendid Home to the dynamic zone. Zhang Chen simply stopped driving. Walked to work every day. Thinking of Xiaosha, it has become a place that is out of reach and can only be contacted by phone and computer. Turn on the TV and computer and take a look. They are really doing well. Hunan, Hubei, and Jiangxi are even worse. The snow has become a disaster. On TV, a proper term has appeared, called the Southern Snow Disaster. The snow disaster in the South in 2008 is destined to become an unforgettable memory for Southerners who have little snow. High-voltage transmission towers have been crushed by snow, and power outages have begun in many places. Planes have begun to be delayed and grounded on a large scale, and trains have also begun to stop running. Long-distance buses are the most affected, and a large number of passengers are stranded in stations, which is the most worrying thing. Yes, the Spring Festival travel season has begun. Lu Ligan and his construction company had stopped work long ago due to heavy snow. The workers had already taken vacation, but they had no way to go back. Not to mention that the tickets themselves are difficult to buy. Even if you buy the tickets, you still can't walk. The highways leading to various places are closed, and almost all long-distance buses have been suspended. For the trains that are still running, the stations also announce their stops every day. Transportation information: it is very likely that the ticket you bought is in it. Even if you are lucky enough to get on the bus, it does not mean that you can go home. It is very likely that you will just transfer from Hangzhou City Station or East Station to a train station closer to your home. After getting off the bus, you will still be stranded at the station, and there will be no short-distance buses home. The worries of Lu Ligan and others, as the time approached, immediately turned into the worries of Zhang Chen. Thousands of his workers were also unable to leave and were stranded in the factory. The problem was that there was nothing to do, and the supply of food and auxiliary ingredients was extremely irregular, and we could only do it intermittently. Then, the supply of vegetables also became extremely irregular. The old man had to go to the market to grab vegetables every morning. Originally, Hangzhou itself, after passing the Qingtai overpass, Sijiking, Wufa village, Sancha village, Shuixiang village, Sanbao to Jubao, are mostly vegetable villages. The supply of vegetables in Hangzhou will not be a problem and can meet its own needs. In addition, we can also supply to neighboring cities. But in the past few years, the vegetable fields in these places have been expropriated. Especially after the Hangzhou city government's eastern strategy was implemented, the vegetable fields in these places have been turned into real estate land, and these villages have been converted into residential areas. Hangzhou must also rely on importing vegetables from other places. In such an extreme climate and traffic jams, the supply of vegetables will naturally become a problem. There were too many monks and too little food, so the old man had to reduce the food supply in the cafeteria. As a result, the workers complained again. Zhao Zhigang called Zhang Chen, but Zhang Chen had no choice. He said, "If I can solve this problem, I can become the county magistrate or the mayor. Boss, isn't that mayor your friend? Can't you call him and ask him to help? Zhao Zhigang said. You damn Zhao Zhigang, why should I call him to help buy vegetables? You can imagine that people have more headaches than me. You have thousands of humming people, and they will scream if you miss one bite of vegetables. You have to take care of hundreds of people, food for 10,000 people, do you understand? Zhang Chen cursed and hung up the phone. Zhang Chen was right, and he could imagine how difficult it was for Li Yong now, even more difficult than when Sass was at that time. When he called Zhang Chen and the others, his voice was hoarse. Cao Minfang called Zhang Chen and told him, Mr. Zhang, we have nothing to do in Sanya. You can either come to Sanya. Zhang Chen thought to himself, at this time, how could he leave so many people behind and run to Sanya? Although he thought that Sanya was indeed very tempting, wearing a bulky down jacket, an island uniform and flip-flops, that was the taste of freedom. Zhang Chen couldn't leave himself, but he decided to send the elderly people away. Splendid Home is also now unable to provide water and electricity normally. Zhang Chen discussed with Tan Shahen and Lu Ligan, and they sent all the elderly people at home to Sanya. Zhang Chen said that if Lao Lu and Lao Tan wanted to fight, he should also let them go to a warmer place to fight. Xiaoshu, Yao Fen, and Xiang Nan accompanied them. After sending all the old people away and keeping Zhang Chen and the others, they had the intention of fighting the snow disaster. I can't wash my face and take a bath properly every day. Every day, everyone looks a little unkempt, but it doesn't matter, the people in the whole city are like this anyway. As long as the people in the whole city are like this, it doesn't matter, even if the whole city is like this. People in the city are running around naked, and everyone will soon get used to it. They were all prepared for a protracted war, and were prepared to spend this year in such a noisy, messy, and sloppy way. Unexpectedly, at the end of January, the weather suddenly cleared up. Although the snowstorm is still going on in Hunan, Jiangxi, Hubei, and even northern Guangdong, in Zhejiang, by the end of January, the snow suddenly stopped, and the stop was a bit dramatic. The access to the north began to be unblocked, but the difficulty was in the south. After the access to the north was unblocked, vegetables from Shandong began to come in continuously. The price of vegetables did not rise due to the approaching Spring Festival, but instead fell. The problem of vegetable supply was solved. Then, the highways leading outside the province began to resume operation one by one. Those who were eager to go home for the new year did not care so much. No matter the road ahead was bleak, they resolutely hit the road, even if they were stuck on the road. And the closer to home, the better. Zhang Chen and his factory began to evacuate in an orderly manner. Those in Sichuan and Guizhou were far away. Zhang Chen was worried that they would be stuck on the road, so he simply bought them air tickets and sent them back. Fortunately, those in nearby Anhui, Jiangsu, and Henan had high-speed trains. Once it is opened, they can be allowed to take the train back. If he really couldn't reach the place, Zhang Chen gathered all the vans and drivers in the company, and simply let the driver drive the car, take the people nearby with him, and then drive back after the Spring Festival. Just halfway, 3 vehicles were stopped. They said they were operating illegally and the vehicles would be impounded. This is really unreasonable. My own company's vehicles are used to transport my workers home. Is this also called illegal operation? Zhang Chen argued with the other party on the phone for a long time, but the other party refused to let go at all. In the end, he had no choice but to fine him several thousand yuan and continue on his way. This damn thing made Zhang Chen feel angry all day long. When the last batch of workers were sent away on February 5, the 29th day of the year, Zhang Chen felt that he was almost exhausted. The same goes for Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen. They also experienced the same thing as Zhang Chen. This winter's snow seemed to make all companies agree on time and actions, and everyone encountered the same difficulties. On the evening of the 29th of the new year, the three people who had finally finished their work got together, thinking that they should go to Sanya for New Year's Eve dinner the next day, but they all felt that they were not interested. They felt that Sanya was too far away. It's really the end of the world. Go to my house tomorrow and have New Year's Eve dinner at my house. Xiao Wu told them that the three of them agreed without even thinking about it. Thank you to the chair in the world and the evergreen Emperor Yan for the reward. Thank you for the chair in the world, Eternal Emperor Yan, Humorous Tribe, Xiao Hujuan Sa, LCS 0001, Book Friends 201701130912185553, Brother Harmony, Summer is cool and autumn is coming, W Yuan Lai is Ya, HBWCW, I have 10 pieces of heart, Wu Yue Hao's monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1460. On New Year's Eve the next day, Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Tan Shuhen all took a late nap and didn't get up until noon. Anyway, the Hangzhou-Xinjing Expressway was now open to traffic, and it only took an hour to get from Hangzhou to Yongcheng. In addition, now, there is no need to cross the ferry to get to Xiao Wu's house. A bridge is built directly on the Fukun River. You can get to Xiao Wu's house in 1.5 hours. Xiao Wu told them to take their time, as long as they can make it in time for the New Year's Eve dinner. Zhang Chen got up, drove to the dynamic zone, went upstairs and unexpectedly found Su Qiaxin still there, sitting in a wicker chair and enjoying the sun. Zhang Chen shouted, "Qiaxin, why didn't you go back?" Su Qiaxin said, "It's too troublesome to come and go. I won't go back. Boss, how about I hang out with you? I'm alone and I don't have a place to eat." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, just follow us." Su Qiaxin giggled and said, "It's better for me to be the boss. This damn Xiao won't take me there no matter what." "Hey, you're a stingy brat. How can I make their family poor if I just eat a little bit?" "Boss, don't go back on your word," we agreed. Just as he was talking, Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu came up from below. They went out to the supermarket to buy wine and cigarettes. When Su Qiaxin saw Xiao Wu, he shouted, "Damn Xiao Wu, the boss agreed that I would go with you." Xiao Wu looked at Zhang Chen and wanted to say something. Zhang Chen said, "Why, you still want to leave her alone upstairs?" Xiao Wu frowned but didn't say anything. Lu Ligan said that Xiao Wu was afraid that Su Qiaxin would pick up on him. Xiao Wu's face turned red. "Su Qiaxin scolded you, you damn Mr. Lu." She stood up as she said that and was going to hit Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan laughed and said, "Then you can pick me up. The more I do, the merrier. Go, you gangster, I won't pay attention to you," Su Qiaxin said, suddenly laughing, and she said, "Wait until Sister Shahan comes, let's make out and make out, you are not allowed to run away." Lu Li was shocked when he said this, and Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu laughed. After a while, Tan Shahan arrived. Su Qiaxin looked at Lu Ligan and called with a smile, "Mr. Lu." Lu Ligan immediately slipped back to the room and said, "I'll get my bag." Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu couldn't help laughing. Tan Shahan looked at them and wondered what they were laughing at. Tan Shahan looked at Su Qiaxin and asked, "Why didn't you go back?" Su Qiaxin still said that going back and forth was too troublesome. Tan Shahan looked at Xiao Wu, then at Su Qiaxin, and said meaningfully, "You don't want to go back, do you?" Su Qiaxin's face turned slightly red, and she said, "Let's go, Sister Shahan, I'm messing with you." Tan Shahan said, "Yes, I will take you to a good place." Zhang Chen looked at them and seemed to understand something. The 5 people went downstairs and got in the car. Xiao Wu drove, Zhang Chen sat in the passenger seat, and the other three people sat in the back. On the afternoon of New Year's Eve, not only were there few vehicles on the streets of Hangzhou, but they also got on the Hangzhou Expressway. There were very few cars, so Xiao Wu simply set the car to cruise control at a speed of 125 yards and let the car run on the highway by itself. Su Qiaxin asked, "The speed limit on this highway is 120 yards, Xiao Wu, why did you set the speed limit at 125 yards? Xiao Wu kept a straight face and remained silent. Tan Shahen told her that on the expressway, as long as the speed limit is within 10%, even if she is caught, she will not be punished. Su Qiaxin said oh, looked at Xiao Wu who was driving in front, and stopped talking. Tan Shahen smiled slightly and asked, Xiao, do you not welcome us to your home? Xiao Wu quickly said, how could it be possible? I can't even invite Sister Zhen. It's rare to have such an opportunity. Then you don't welcome Qiaxin, Tan Shahen continued to ask. Xiao Wu said, how could it be? It's okay if you don't. I'm a guest, and I'm here to visit you. Xiao Wu, remember that. Tan Shahen said that both Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan looked at Xiao Wu with smiles, and Xiao Wu even turned red on his neck. After driving for only an hour and 10 minutes, they arrived at Xiao Wu's home. Xiao Wu's father, his sister Xiao Mei and her boyfriend Jian Lin, and Xiao Wu's younger brother were already waiting for them at the door and were at home with them. Waiting at the door was the director of the village. The village director said that when Xiao Wu came back last time, he was not at home and didn't see him. Today he knew that Xiao Wu was back and he must come and see him. Su Qiaxin got out of the car, looked around, and praised, it's such a nice place with beautiful mountains and clear waters. She saw Zhang Chen looking at her and smiling, and quickly asked, what's wrong, boss, did I use the wrong words again? Zhang Chen smiled and said, no, this is really a place with beautiful mountains and clear waters. Everyone moved the cigarettes and alcohol in the trunk under the car. The director said, okay, Xiao Wu has seen me, I have to go back for the New Year's Eve dinner, and I'll come back after I finish the meal. Lu Ligan took 2 bottles of Mao Tai and 2 cigarettes of Chinese cigarettes and made sure to put them into his hands. The director thanked them and left with a smile. Xiao Wu's father invited everyone to come into the house. The 8 immortals table in front of the hall was already filled with dishes. Under the 8 immortals table, a large fire pit was placed. After sitting down for a while, the lower body began to heat up and felt indescribably comfortable. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan did not drink the mutai and wool yanjai they brought. Instead, they drank the barley roast brewed by Xiao's father. Xiao Mei's boyfriend Jianlin, who also has a good drinker, accompanied Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan to drink. He, his father, and his younger brother didn't even measure it. They drank hot rice wine with a few other women. The younger brother is still studying at university in Nanjing and is the first college student in their village. Xiao Mei's boyfriend Jianlin is also a worker at the power plant. He seems to be very easy to get along with. When he is with Xiao Mei's little actions are also very affectionate. It was revealed subconsciously, and it was obvious that the relationship between the two people was very good. Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Tan Shahen looked at their family and felt a little relieved, and they were also happy for Xiao Wu. Xiao picked up the wine glass and said to Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Tan Shahen, Brother Chen, Brother Ganzi, and Sister Zhen, thank you. When I am away, I rely on you to take care of the whole family. Xiao Wu's father said from the side, yes, if it hadn't been for your care over the years, this family might have been broken up. As he spoke, he also picked up the cup. Xiao Mei, his brother, and Jianlin also stood up and raised their cups. Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Tan Shahen also picked up their cups. Only Su Qiaxin sat there. She looked at Xiao Wu and the others, then at Zhang Chen and the others, and asked, Sister Shahen, which end should I stand on? Tan Shahen burst into laughter and said, "You can stand wherever you like." Su Kioxin thought for a moment and said, "Then I'd better stand on Xiao's side." "Come on, I respect you too." Lu Ligan asked, "You are on Xiao Wu's side? What is your identity?" "My friend and colleague, can't I learn to drive from him?" Tan Shahen said, "Yes, come, let's drink and wish a Happy New Year." Everyone shouted Happy New Year, clinked their glasses, drank it all in one gulp, and then sat down after shining the bottom of their glasses. Everyone enjoyed the New Year's Eve dinner. In the meantime, Tan Shahen called Xiang Nan. They were also having the New Year's Eve dinner. This year's New Year's Eve dinner was not held at the Banmuishan Resort Hotel. Cao Minfang took them to the Banmuishan Resort Hotel. Eat at Muishan Hotel. When Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan, Lao Zhang, and Zhang Chen's mother, and Lu Ligan's mother were talking to them on the phone one by one, they heard Lao Lu keep shouting from behind, "It's delicious, it's delicious, the food here is good eat." Zhang Chen also called Xiao Fang. Xiao Fang and Zhang Xiangbei had just gotten up and were having breakfast. Xiao Fang said, "Brother-in-law, let's use milk. Come on, let's cheers and wish you a Happy New Year." After the New Year's Eve dinner, Xiaomei was cleaning up. Tan Shahen wanted to help, but Xiaomei refused. Jianlin pulled the brazier under the Eight Immortals table to a corner in front of the hall, added charcoal, and set up 4 benches beside the brazier. Everyone went over to sit down, and Xiao Wu's father took out melon seeds, peanuts, torreya, pecans, sesame candies, jelly rice candies, and invited them to eat. Xiao Wu's brother made a cup of tea for everyone, served it, and placed it on the bench next to everyone. Everyone sat, warming themselves by the fire, eating, and chatting all over the world. At about 7 o'clock in the evening, people came one after another. Most of them came to see Xiao Wu. When Xiao Wu came back, most of them were working outside. They all came back during the Spring Festival. This was the first time. Meet. An aunt in her 50s came, and Xiao Wu called her aunt. When her aunt came, she pulled Xiao Wu aside and told him that the woman in so-and-so's family was about the same age as Xiao Wu, and her husband had gone to the mountains a few years ago. The stone exploded to death. Although he had 2 children with him, the man was quite nice and willing to work. Xiao Wu must go and have a look and introduce the woman to Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu blushed and kept saying, "No, no, thank you aunt." "Why not? How old are you? You still want to be a bachelor for the rest of your life. Let me tell you, although I have 2 children, they have only had the fertilization inserted and not sterilized yet. If you get married, she can still give birth. In your case, I don't care. If I make it clear to her, she won't mind it." The aunt kept talking and asked Xiao Wu's father to help her. Xiao Wu's father chuckled. Lu Ligan, Zhang Chen, and Tan Shahen also laughed. Xiao stood there, extremely embarrassed. His aunt pulled him to go outside, but Xiao refused to leave. Su Kioxin couldn't stand it anymore, so she stood up, walked over and said to aunt, "Auntie, what do you think of me?" The aunt let go of Xiao Wu, looked at Su Kioxin and asked, "Who are you?" Su Kioxin said, "I am Xiao Wu's girlfriend. He took me home to celebrate the New Year. I am here, and you want to introduce women to Xiao Wu. What do you mean?" The aunt was startled. She looked Su Kioxin up and down and asked suspiciously, "Are you really Xiao Wu's girlfriend?" Lu Ligan shouted, "Yes, it's true. She is Xiao Wu's girlfriend and Xiao Wu's leader. She is still a college student. Auntie, let's see how she compares to that girl of yours." This time it was Auntie's turn to blush. She patted Su Kioxin's arm, then patted her own face, and shouted, "Oh, you look at me for being confused. If it's true, of course it would be great. Such a beautiful young girl is our Xiao Wu's girlfriend. I'm very happy for Xiao Wu. As she spoke, she went to dig into her pockets and shouted, "Come on, then Aunt will definitely give you lucky money." Thank you, Tin Soldier, for reading the book every day, ranking third from top to bottom, and rewarding 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Hu Hu, Shuhei Diao Hang, Li Rujin, Lupu Eco Home Ecological Wood, Free Rain, Kingbo, Mao, Sissy My Wife, Hurricane 0669, Sueo Learn to Sing, Huaxin Yongxiao, 8 Liang, Book Friends 201809062232049334, Salted Fish Sewer, Tamagotchi, Earl's Spring, W Destiny is Ya, Cup Guy API, Book Friends 202009031727593111, Wu Li, Scene Chen 70 SIXS Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1461. The ant wanted to give Sukioxen lucky money, but Sukioxen insisted on not giving it, but she couldn't push it away. In the end, she could only accept the 100 yuan. When the ant left, Sukioxen stood there, looking helplessly at Zhang Chen and the others. Zhang Chen and Lu They laughed at the pole. Sukioxen gave the money to Xiao Wu, and Xiao Wu shouted, "Why are you giving it to me? This is not for me. Give it to Xiaomei." Xiaomei said, "Just accept what is given to you, I can't have it." Sukioxen had no choice but to put the money on the bench and press it with a cup. Sukioxen also sat down by the brazier. Lu Ligan and Sukioxen said, "Sukioxen, you are a fraud." Sukioxen became anxious and shouted, "Why did I commit fraud?" "Are you Xiao Wu's girlfriend?" Lu Ligan asked. "If it's not fraud, or if you can't escape, then it's definitely fraud." Everyone laughed. Sukioxen became anxious and said, this damn Xiao Wu. "It's none of my business." Xiao Wu rolled his eyes at her. "Did I let you talk nonsense?" Sukioxen snorted and shouted, "Then you go, why don't you go on a blind date and see the widow with 2 children? Why don't you go? They are trying to help you, but in the end they are not so kind." Good news. Zhang Chen and the others laughed and laughed. Tan Shahen said, "Yes, Qiao Xian is right, you were kind enough to help Xiao Wu out of the siege." Not long after the ant left, more people came. The next people came to see Sukioxen. On the way back, the ant went from house to house and talked about it. Most of the people in the village knew that Xiao Wu I brought back a very beautiful girlfriend, Tisk Tisk, who is more than 10 years younger than Xiao Wu, a yellow-flowered girl, Tisk Tisk, who is still a college student. There was a sensation in the village, and everyone came to watch the fun, especially those who were close to Xiao Wu and his family, and they wanted to come over. Sukioxen stood up and had no chance to sit down. Her head was dizzy as she was being held by the hands of one and the other, asking questions and asking questions. Xiaomei introduced her to the side, so she followed her and called her, "This is my uncle, and that is my uncle grandma, this is the little grandpa, that is the little grandma, this is the cousin, that is the cousin, this is the cousin, that is the cousin." Sukioxen quietly asked Xiaomei, "Why do you have so many relatives in your family? Do you still have them?" Xiaomei smiled and said that there were almost all relatives in a village. Sukioxen felt like she was going to faint. How did she know that in the countryside, these so-called relatives were actually thousands of miles away, and there were many who were not relatives at all? Another woman came, holding Sukioxen's hand with one hand, and stretched out one hand under her down jacket, and touched her lower abdomen through her pants. Sukioxen was shocked and twisted. He covered his body to prevent her from touching him, and he shrank back, trying to avoid it, but her hand was held by her again, and he couldn't hide even if he wanted to. "Not yet, not soon yet," the woman finally concluded. "Xiao Wu is still honest." The people on the side laughed, and Su Kioxen was puzzled by their laughter. She didn't know what had not yet been sown, and what had not been sown. Xiao Mei told her that this was the women's director of the village, in charge of family planning. Whose family had a girl here? She would come to see if she was hiding here to make a living. Su Kioxen's face turned red instantly. At about 10 o'clock in the evening, the crowd finally dispersed. At this time, Xiao insisted on going back to Hangzhou. Originally, they had discussed in advance that they would stay here for 2 nights and go back on the second day of the second grade. Zhang Chen asked, why are they in such a hurry? Su Kioxen also said, Xiao Mei has already agreed with me that she will take me to dig winter bamboo shoots tomorrow morning. Xiao Wu glared at her and cursed, you dare to stay, but I don't dare to stay. Tomorrow, it will be even more lively, and people from all over the country will come here. When Su Kioxen heard this, she quickly said, let's go, I'll go too. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan laughed. Lu Ligan said, there is another way, that is to cook the rice before it is cooked. Su Kioxen, just be Xiao Wu's girlfriend. Su Kioxen was coy. She already had more than one red paper package in her hand, and no one would take it. She was anxious and said, I can't take it anyway, otherwise I will really become a fraudster. Su Kioxen threw all the red envelopes on the bench, ran out the door and got into the car. Xiao's father and Jianlin stuffed all kinds of New Year's goods into the trunk of the car until the trunk could hardly be closed, and then they gave up. The 5 people got in the car and left. The car crossed the bridge and reached the Fukun riverside, heading towards the entrance of Hangzhou Expressway. Su Kioxen looked at the dark sky outside and sighed. She said, actually, Xiao Wu, the people in your village are quite nice and so enthusiastic. I'll go. Do you have to go back? Lu Ligan shouted. It doesn't matter, we will send the Kioxen over next time when we send the bride off, Tan Shehen said. Su Kioxen became anxious and shouted, Sister Shehen, you. After returning to Hangzhou, they went home separately. At noon the next day, Zhang Chen and Tan Shehen were alone and had no place to go. They returned to the upstairs of the dynamic zone. They brought back too many things from Xiao's house yesterday and decided to speculate by themselves. A few dishes and a hot pot. Xiao Wu went out to wash vegetables, and Su Kioxen followed to help him. Tan Shehen asked Zhang Chen, do you think it is possible for these 2 people? Zhang Chen, wouldn't it be great if they could be together? Lu Ligan said, I think Su Kioxen really likes Xiao Wu, but this Xiao Wu is so weird. Xiao Wu doesn't feel comfortable with it, Zhang Chen said. When I get a chance, I'll ask 2 people to find out. I think it's not that Xiao Wu doesn't like Su Kioxen, he is a little scared, Tan Shehen said. What are you afraid of? Zhang Chen asked. I would be scared if I were Xiao Wu. Who knows if you, little girl, may have a sudden whim and become nervous. Xiao Wu wants to stabilize herself, Tan Shehen said. Zhang Chen nodded. Zhang Chen's phone rang, and it was Li Yong. Zhang Chen answered it, and Li Yong asked, Zhang Chen, do you have food there? Zhang Chen said yes, we are about to do it. Why, you don't even have a place to eat? Li Yong said, I'll come over later and have a bite to eat. I have to be on duty in the afternoon. This morning, the first day of the Lunar New Year, Li Yong got up very early and went to the Hangzhou garrison. He went to the street to see the traffic police on duty, to the Urban Management Bureau, to see the sanitation workers who stayed at their posts during the holidays, and a large group of reporters and the escort followed him, and the whole morning was lively. At noon, he wanted to be quiet for a while, so he thought of Zhang Chen. When Tan Shehen heard that Li Yong was coming, she stood up and said, I'll prepare some more dishes. Zhang Chen, will you cook them later? Zhang Chen said, okay, call me when you are ready. Lu Ligan stood up, walked to the window, and looked at the splendid Jiangnan opposite. I'm going to start again, Lu Ligan shouted. Zhang Chen turned around and looked out the window. The sky that had been clear for a few days had become cloudy again, and snow began to drift in the air. Zhang Chen suddenly became nervous. His first thought was that it looked like the workers were returning to the factory. The road is going to be difficult again. The shipping date for their first container has been set long ago and will start shipping on the 12th year of the lunar year. Starting from February 7th, the snow that had stopped for more than a week began to fall to the ground again. Fortunately, this snow did not start continuously like last time, but stopped and stopped. Next, it lasted until the end of February. The highways leading to the inside and outside of the province are also open and closed. On the 8th day of the Lunar New Year, Zhang Chen took Su Qiaxin to the factory. To their relief, although many workers were blocked by the snow, many people had returned, especially those who opened companies. The car in the car went out, and now the people in the car are back. It is one day later than planned, and the road is not easy to walk. The most important thing is that although the highway leading to Kuzhu was closed, Zhao Zhigang and the others set off one day in advance and took the national highway, which was less than 300 kilometers away. After walking for more than 10 hours, they finally made it back to the factory. Zhao Zhigang, Zhao Zhailong, and Kaidi were back. Zhang Chen felt that this factory had a backbone. No matter how few people there were, production could continue. Su Qiaxin looked at Zhao Zhigang and said, "Grandma, you are finally back. I have been so scared these past 2 days." Zhao Zhigang looked at her and cursed, "Grandma, I am your grandfather." Okay, as long as you sell the goods to me, I can do anything with you," Su Qiaxin said, "otherwise I will be scolded to death by that damn Jerry. He doesn't know how much the Chinese New Year means to us Chinese people." Importantly, he also told me that Christmas had already passed, so why couldn't the goods be shipped within 10 days? He also told me that we were the ones who confirmed that the goods would be shipped every day at that time. Grandma, Christmas has nothing to do with us, but this damn Jerry must argue with me, saying that Christmas should be the Chinese New Year. Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang laughed, and Zhao Zhigang said, "Okay, I will definitely find a way to get the goods out for you." "Then you are my biological grandfather," Su Qiaxin said. Zhang Chen and Su Qiaxin went back to the upstairs of the dynamic zone. The two of them were sitting there, waiting for delivery at the back of the row. Xiao pushed the door open and came in. As soon as he saw Su Qiaxin, he left with an "oh" sound. Zhang Chen looked at Su Qiaxin and asked, "What's wrong with you and Xiao Wu? Why does Xiao Wu see you as if he's a ghost?" Su Qiaxin bit her lip, her face turned pale, and she remained silent. Zhang Chen continued to ask, "By the way, Su Qiaxin, what happened in the past week or so since you came back from Xiao's house?" Su Qiaxin suddenly took the pen in his hand and kept poking on the paper, shouting, "Damn Xiao Wu, damn Xiao Wu, damn Xiao Wu, I'm so angry, this coward." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Xiao Wu, what's wrong with you? You're still laughing, what's wrong with me? He doesn't even dare to have a relationship if I ask him to." "Do you think he is a coward?" Su Qiaxin asked. Zhang Chen laughed and said, "Then why doesn't he dare? There are a lot of excuses, saying that he is more than 10 years older than me, that I am a college student, that he has never been to elementary school, that he has been in prison, etc., etc. It is so ridiculous that I can't help but don't be afraid." "What are you afraid of? If you fall in love, you will die, it makes me so angry," Su Qiaxin said angrily. Zhang Chen laughed. After finishing laughing, he straightened his face, looked at Su Qiaxin, and asked seriously, "Su Qiaxin, let me ask you, are you serious about falling in love with Xiao?" "Of course, who wants to play house with him? The problems Xiao Wu mentioned do exist objectively. There are still differences between you. Have you thought about them carefully? Have you thought about them seriously?" Of course I've thought about it, Sukiyaksen said, I'm not a child. I've been in love several times, and I'm still a headless fly. Okay, Sukiyaksen, can I order Xiao to talk to you? Zhang Chen asked. Really? Sukiyaksen giggled, that's great, boss, I know what you say, Xiao Wu will listen to it. Thank you, Uncle Wang Pacino, for the reward that I don't even know, anyone asked. Thank you to Uncle Wang Pacino, Bolink, Shuangling Xiao, Book Friends 201701130912185553, It's Not an Impossible World, WXD 121, Free Reign, Zonkai 727, Book Friends 2019010420175818, and Guzio Kaiokio for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.